up? Welcome to the No Life Digital Podcast. How's everyone doing this fine evening? Today, got some gaming news, got some tech news, some new stuff coming out in tech, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing too groundbreaking, nothing too big. A couple of announcements, and let's just jump into it. What's up, homies?
Another day, another dollar.
That's right. You guys playing any new games?
New old games. That's at Steam sale. I'm just going through a bunch of stuff, deciding what to actually play.
Anything good in the sale? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the sale. Oh, it's over?
Yeah, and it's
I was hoping Sekiro would be more than 20% off.
Too new. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'd still get it, man. It's fucking so
No,
amazing.
I'm gonna get it in probably next year's Steam sale when it's 30-40% off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this Steam has like
There's winter sale as well.
they have like 4 sales at this point.
Whatever sale where it's 30 to 40% off, I'll probably buy it.
Yeah. I just saved the big sales honestly for DLC
Mm-hmm.
because I play all those stupid Paradox games and Total War and those games where normal price is like $400 worth of DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never buying that when it's not on sale.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything in the sale. Nothing really caught my eye. I started. I took my Oculus back from the office and installed it here, and got some new games, some new VR games. Oh my god, dude! It's just getting better and better. I think I'm gonna go and get the new Vive, the Index, because I'm just hearing it's like a lot clearer, there's more clarity to it, and they're starting to like allow like more modifications, and I think that's that next evolution. And then the next one after that's probably the one that I'll probably recommend to most people. But right now, it's getting pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played with it or anything, but like I've been impressed by what I've heard about the Index. Because I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but like even the guys at like Corridor were like thinking it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. Well, it's like that plus like the new sort of stuff coming out in VR is making it really impressive. I was playing a ping pong game, and ping pong is a very like fast, sort of very accurate style game. Like if you ever play ping pong, it's a lot of twitch movement, a lot of muscle memory, and it's very fast. And they fucking nailed it. And I'm playing ping pong with this guy in the UK, and it was just mind blowing. Like that's where I think VR is really gonna get popular. It's that sort of like social community style game that's kind of very simple to learn but hard to master. And then you just kind of get a couple people in the room, and I mean, I couldn't believe how accurate they were able to make it feel. You could do curves, you could do like top spins and backspin, and it felt like I was playing ping pong. It was pretty insane. And that's when I was like, oh my God, I've missed the last few maybe the last year or so of VR. And it's only gotten better. It's only gotten more responsive, more accurate. I was playing Project Cars. It's one of my favorite things to do is set up the wheel, set up the VR headset, and it's like you're fucking driving. And it's only gotten like, it's just gotten better, man. And I think now it's... What was that?
You get the racing bet out too.
Oh, no. Actually, it sucks because this is a rolling chair. So when I press the gas, I kind of move myself back. So I have to like hold myself with the wheel. And I was getting like vertigo. I was getting kind of motion sickness because I haven't played in a while and I wasn't used to it. And I mean, it's insane, man. It's so fun. It's just so fun. I highly recommend if you have the money and you want like a really fun new hobby or new experience, VR is really fun to get into. But it's not quite ready yet for prime time, I don't think. There's still no like killer app, no killer game. There's no
VR chat.
yeah, VR chat. Well, see, that's the thing is like those social experiences are way more fun than like Robo Recall. I mean, they're still fun, but that's where like the experience really comes alive because you kind of lose yourself when you're in conversation with someone else or you're in some sort of like adventure with someone. And that's when the sort of like the walls kind of disappear and then you're in the world. Because when you're playing like a single player game, you can kind of get lost in it a little bit, but it's still, you're missing that human connection. And then when you add that in there, and you know the ping is like perfect, and you're not lagging out or anything, and it just becomes really, really impressive and super fun. And the ping pong one, just check that one out. I think it's called 11's Ping Pong. And it's just a simple ping pong game. It's kind of janky, but the gameplay is spot on. It's like if you've ever played ping pong, you know you have to fucking whip that shit over. Bang! And that's how it is. It works perfect. Dude, there was a point, I'm playing this guy in the UK, and the ball hits the corner of the table, and I have to reach for it. And I just forgot that I wasn't really playing ping pong, and I almost fucking fell over and busted my ass because I actually was like, ah! And I can see people getting really hurt playing that game, but because there's no table to hold on to, you just fall right through it and fucking bust your ass. But luckily I was okay. And that's when I was like, oh man, this game is fucking awesome.
You gotta be standing up for those kinds of games.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you, because that was the original like WoW formula. It was get people here, and this is shit for them to do, but we need stuff to get the people here.
Yeah.
But the content's the people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. That next evolution, when they figure out how to get rid of the god rays, how to get rid of all of like the pixels, because you can still see pixels and stuff. Once they get rid of all of that, the refresh rate is about as accurate as our eyes see. Then I think we're gonna be in for a pretty crazy ride. I mean, like the Google Earth VR thing is crazy. You could just fucking float around the world. And it's to scale, so you can see the Eiffel Tower, and it's all to scale, and it's fucking insane, man. Super fun. You could probably go get a Rift, the Rift version 1 for pretty cheap. I think I'm gonna go with the Index over the Rift S, just because I do want more of like a hardcore VR headset. I want one high refresh, really nice and clear, because that's my biggest issue with it now, is that I get motion sickness pretty easily. So anytime there's that obstacle there, I can kind of get thrown off. So I kind of want all of that to bleed away and just give me like the raw experience. And so far, the Index is the only one that can really provide that right now. Plus, that's where most of the innovation is happening, is with the Valve stuff. And I've been playing Cuphead. I've been enjoying it on the Switch. It's fucking hard. It's no joke. A real tough game. What's up to everyone who's watching in Twitch? Whoa, what is this? Cuphead is fun, dude, but it's hard. It's not an easy game by any means. It's easy to know, it's easy to play, but you gotta be ready to die. That's the Dark Souls formula, you know? Just get ready to die, because it's gonna happen. But I've been enjoying it.
Die and ready to memorize all of the patterns.
Yeah, that's what it is. Now, it's a lot of discipline too. Now, I was talking to Doobie about it before. I hate the Contra style octagon shooting mechanic. I wish that it was just free, like just wherever you pointed your analog stick, that's where you shoot. That's not the case. You can only shoot in 8 different directions: diagonal, horizontal, and then vertical. And I feel like it just makes it a little bit more clunky. I guess that's kind of how they want it to play out, because it's supposed to simulate like an older game. But I just feel like it makes it just a little bit clunkier, because you can't stay still and shoot a specific area unless you're holding down one of the buttons that makes you stop, and then you can aim your shot. But then you kind of have to get into position to aim that shot to where you want it. Does that make sense? So if someone's falling in the screen, right? You got a guy falling here. You can't hit him if you're out of position and you're shooting diagonally, because you're just going to either miss him here or you're going to miss him up here. You have to get right into position, hold the button down, then aim at diagonally, then shoot him. And you can't shoot him while you're moving either, because you're just going to move yourself out of position. So it kind of just is a little clunky in that area. I wish it was just free. I wish that they would just give you the whole range of motion with shooting. But it just adds to the difficulty, really. It's just, that's all that really does. It just adds to the difficulty.
Yeah, it's like that's part of the difficulty curve.
I didn't play it on a controller. I played it on a fight stick.
Oh, really?
But like diagonally shooting was no problem for me. because I was playing it as if I was playing it in the arcade.
I wonder if that would make it easier. I wonder if that would make it easier
I mean, are you playing on PC or Xbox?
on the Switch.
Are you playing on the Switch?
Yeah.
Uh,
And I'm
probably
using
no
the
real
Pro
fight stick
controller.
on the Switch. I tell you that.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
D-pad is trash on the Switch Pro controller. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just using the Pro analog sticks, and it's just a little clunky, but it's still fun.
that might be a thing too. Is like a game like that, any kind of platformer, especially like a 2D platformer. I would never play with an analog stick. I would play with a D-pad,
Yeah.
or
I hate
because
the
I
D-pad.
went for the arcade feel. I was technically playing it on a stick, but like it wasn't like an arcade style stick. So
Once the DualShock came into play, I've never went back to the D-pad. I despise it. I hate it. Don't even want to look at it. Don't even put it on
you
my
probably
controller.
would get easier diagonal inputs with a D-pad, unfortunately.
Well,
than-
it's not getting the input that's the problem. It's you only shoot diagonally one way. You know what I mean? So you have to be in position to hit someone, and you can't really be in position if you're running and shooting. So you have to hold that button down, and it just makes it
The
difficult.
specific boss I'm thinking about is the boat. with
I'm
the sail.
thinking more even like the running guns, because you're moving and there's stuff falling on the screen. There's other people passing by. You have to be able to get into position and be able to dodge and all that stuff. And
See, that's why
'cause you
I
can't
went
really
with
shoot.
the invisible dash for all of the running guns. Just
Yeah.
skip as much as possible.
Am I the only one who thinks that's like important? By the way, like I think shooting 8 different directions was a heavily stylistic choice that was integral to how that game works.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Totally.
It is. It's meant to add to the difficulty. But I don't think it adds. I don't think it adds to the enjoyment.
I don't even think it adds to the difficulty. I think it adds to the authenticity of that style. That is, like when you think of that style, you don't think of free aim. You think of octagonal direction input,
Yeah.
directions.
Yeah, I just don't think that I don't think that it adds to the enjoyment of the shooting. You know, I don't think it would take it away if they just gave you free shooting.
Personally, I think it does, just because maybe it is more of a nostalgia feeling. But like, if it was just free shooting, I don't think I would enjoy that game as much, because the fun and challenge to me of that game is positioning is a large part of it.
Yeah.
And if you do free shooting, who cares? Positional wise, then it's just like weird Mega Man clone instead of like good Contra clone.
Yeah.
I
Even
think that
Mega Man, you don't
is
have
heavily-
directional shooting.
Well, like the running guns aren't fun
You have
either.
side only.
The running guns aren't really that fun. It's really like the boss battles that you want to
You
play.
can tell that they were the least worked on part of the game, because the game started off as literally only bosses, and as the
Yeah.
game kind of grew legs and became more bosses and more bosses, they were like, "Oh, we got to add like regular platforming levels."
Yeah,
So
because
there's not a
everyone
lot of-
freaked out. Remember?
Yeah, and there's only a few of the platforming levels. Like I can only off the top of my head think of like 2 or 3 of them. There's not many, and they're not necessarily that hard.
No.
You just get through them so that you can get the coins to buy more upgrades.
Yeah.
And I wound up going for the charge shot, which is a very Mega Man style like weapon.
Yeah. I mean the I think the reason you play it is one for the difficulty and then the art. I mean, it's such a fun game to look at. It really
music.
is.
The music is so good.
Yeah, the music's good too, but I mean, it's just really nice to look at, and it's like it has like a charm to it, which I like. So I've been enjoying it. I don't think it's as groundbreaking or as great as everyone says it is, just because the gameplay is still sort of, I don't know. I feel like
I don't think groundbreaking was ever I don't think that was ever the thing that people said.
Oh no,
groundbreaking. I think it was just it took the style that it was trying to emulate and it just did it very, very well.
yeah,
It could be groundbreaking, twisted into groundbreaking in an attempt that, like, old games are
animation.
good.
Yeah, the animations to
Animation
capture that
is
animation is like
That I could see an
almost
argument for.
groundbreaking.
Yeah, I could see the animation art style, since they were all hand drawn, being considered groundbreaking.
yeah.
But like the gameplay, it's like, no, it's a lot of fun. It's great. It's an homage, though. It's not. There's no argument in my mind that it's groundbreaking. That it's like, well, we copied this great game from the '80s. Groundbreaking.
No. It's more like how do I put it? It's not a game that I am particularly super excited to play when I jump into it, if that makes sense. It's kind of a game that like let's play a couple levels, get through it. It's pretty to look at. I'm done after like an hour or two. It's not like, oh man, I can't wait to get home and play some Cuphead. That, at least for me, it's like that. Because the gameplay is very contrived. It's very derivative. The really only draw from the game to me is the art style and the music. I want to see what other bosses look like. I want to see what other worlds they put me in. It's not so much like the combat itself. And that's the biggest difference from the Souls game that I think is that I enjoy the combat and the movement and the gameplay of the Souls game more than the difficulty and the world that they put you in. I mean, they can give me any world that they want as long as they had that same combat. So that's kind of where I think that the Souls sort of argument it's a little bit different there. It's really just difficulty that they compare it to.
Yeah. Whereas, like, I think that for difficulty, but I also think structure-wise, Dark Souls is very much about exploration as much as it is also about boss fights.
Yeah.
Whereas Cuphead is, with the exception of like a few run and gun levels, it's literally just boss fight after boss fight after boss fight.
Yeah.
And that's it is the kind of game where I feel like just playing it in short bursts is really good, because if you get stuck on a boss for a long time and you finally nail it, sometimes you're not immediately ready to jump into the next boss.
Yeah.
You want to savor that victory for a little bit before you then move into the next boss.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's a DLC coming pretty soon, which looks pretty cool. That looks awesome. Oh, well, look at this. Next story. Our first story of the news. There's a Netflix Scoops animated Cuphead series coming, starring Mugman.
I was surprised by this, actually.
That's pretty cool.
So
are you gonna watch it?
I mean, I'll watch it. I definitely want to see what they do with the source material and how they make it into like a full fleshed out narrative.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
And I'm also slightly concerned because it's being handled by Netflix's animation studio. I would hope that they're bringing on, at least as consultants, the people that worked on the art style of the game, because like the poster itself doesn't look.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like Cuphead.
It definitely doesn't fully capture that Cuphead look, and I'm kind of concerned if they're gonna fail to grab, because if they don't nail the 1930s art aesthetic, it's gonna be hard to keep me.
They already missed it with the fucking cover. It looks nothing like. It looks more like Barbera era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a little bit of my worry there. And then I hope they put the music from the game in it, or bring Christopher Madigan back for more music for the show.
I mean, you could just see, like, here's the Studio MDHR's Twitter page and their header. Just looking at their header, you're already thrown into that. Like, they nail every aspect of that art style, everything about it. And then you look at the poster and you're like, what? That looks like Barbera.
It's the cheeks that do it. They're weird. Why is that added?
Yeah, it's like a very Barbera, almost like Disney-like style.
Yeah, it's that, and then the color accuracy.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, maybe Studio MDHR is just looking for a paycheck. Get that licensing check. I don't blame them. They're an indie studio. Get your bag, man. Get your bag.
Yeah. Then they get a chance to build out the story, lore of Cuphead.
The lore of Mugman.
Yeah, the lore of don't sell your soul to the devil.
I would actually. It would be funny to me if, because the game is based on just boss fights, if they focus on like taking each boss down in like every episode, but do it in a not just like a 1930s animation style way, but draw inspiration from like Dragon Ball Z and those like anime, those, what do you call them?
All the anime.
The shonen anime.
Doobie, have you seen the stickers that they put on their Twitter?
No.
I'm gonna drop the link here. Check those out. They're like Japanese anime style Cuphead stickers, and they look fucking awesome, dude. This art team is so cool, talented.
Wait, is
that's
that like
pretty dope.
For like the app.
I wonder how well Cuphead sold in Japan, actually.
I mean, that looks fucking awesome. I wouldn't mind a Mugman Japanese sticker. Man, they know how to really fucking nail those art styles, huh? That's pretty impressive. Yeah, they have a super talented team over there. Hopefully Netflix does them justice. I mean, what animated series do well on Netflix? I know what was one? The Castlevania series did pretty well. It got a second season. Then there was the Horseman. What was his name?
BoJack
Horseman.
Like, I think it depends on this style they're gonna take it. Like, are they trying to make this anime weeaboo? Are they trying to make, which that doesn't do that well on Netflix?
No.
Are they trying to do Castlevania, or are they trying to do
what's the really bad?
BoJack's like
there's
adult
the really
comedy.
bad. Yeah, there's the really bad Netflix anime. Was it Neo Tokyo with the "You don't deserve the big Toblerone" meme came from?
Yeah.
Garbage.
Who was part of that?
Jaden Smith.
That's right, Jaden Smith.
The animation was complete garbage.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to see that.
The plotline was complete garbage.
like no, I'm thinking of a different thing. Okay.
It's like Neo Tokyo.
I don't know if that's the name of
The
it.
guy's got like pink hair. Like Jaden Smith's character has pink hair. There's one scene where like he's in like this hospital and like something happens and he's just like holding this giant big Toblerone. He's like, "You don't deserve this big Toblerone."
It's Neo Yokio. That's
New
what
Yokio, that's it.
Yokio, yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's
Jaden Smith, Jude Law, Jamie Foxx, Jason Schwartzman, and it was supposed to be like this cool anime thing, and it was bad. It wasn't funny.
It was badly
just
written.
Like badly
animated.
It was just so contrived, not good. Yeah, like this is the Toblerone that he's he's holding right there. Toblerone actually made a tweet.
Yeah, it's only good for the meme.
Oh God, yeah. So that hopefully Cuphead doesn't go in that direction, which I think it probably will. Like I said, I think Studio MDHR, since they're not doing the art on it, they're kind of licensing it out. They're like, let's just get the bag. We're gonna work on Cuphead too. You know, fuck all this Netflix stuff. You gotta imagine it takes so much time to make these games.
I'll definitely have more of an opinion when they release the first official teaser trailer for it.
Yeah.
Because that's when I'll be like, either I'll be sold or I'll be like very
The animation style is
cautiously
gonna be
optimistic.
everything. Yeah.
One of the comments on the tweet of the new Cuphead show coming out is, "Will there be blackface though?" Which is part of some of those old cartoons.
Yeah. Okay. Also, looking up this
Oh.
Neo Yokio, it's got some fantastic comments on Google, by the way. Just this is the first review on Google is, okay, so this is a message for the Illuminati or whatever real name of your organization is. I know you will get this because Google algorithms are always set to scan every detail online. Look, you guys want to brainwash the masses, fine. Do your thing. Show all the symbols you want. Do the like rituals or spells on TV to alter minds or play encoded music that changes brain chemistry. But for the love of your God, make the show decent.
I think was it
Neo
Yeah.
Yokio.
So you're playing Cuphead. Have you heard the voice of like when you go into like you pass the first Inkwell Island? I'm assuming, like the first island.
Yeah.
So you know when you see like King Dice and he's doing his song,
Yeah.
that's actually a female performer.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it's really interesting.
That's
They
kind
had-
of like I kind of have that same thing where it's like I found out that Tommy Pickles is voiced by a female. That's kind of the same vibe I get.
Yeah, you just get that really like soulful, like southern, like deep voice for King Dice. So I'm hoping that she might reprise her role in the show for that.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We're gonna have to see, man. I don't have too much expectations for it.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. All right. Next story. The Verge. Dr. Mario World, more like Candy Crush, the NES classic. The Verge has spent some hands-on time with Nintendo's upcoming iOS and Android title, Dr. Mario World. The overall impression of the article isn't entirely favorable. The game is free to play, so it was expected that there would be microtransactions. But the game is apparently littered with things such as timers, loot boxes, and paid currencies. It is free to play, and it could be a huge success for Nintendo. And then we're gonna go to the article from The Verge. Oh my God. Nintendo. I mean, this is nothing new. This is all that they do on iOS. All their games are like this. They're all just fucking, grab bags.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Grab bag.
That's
really
Candy.
bad.
It's Candy Crush. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's genius. If Candy Crush is one of the biggest money making games in the history of the world.
I don't know. After seeing the success that we had with Puyo Puyo Tetris and Tetris 99, like actually having a legit version of Dr. Mario on Switch or something like that would be fantastic.
Or on your phone.
Yeah, and
or
that's
on
not
your
this.
phone.
That's not this.
They seem to not give a shit about, mobile gaming. I mean, it seems like they care about it, but they don't care about the gameplay.
I don't know. I like the gotchas more than I like this kind of thing.
But at the same time, do you like now you can buy power-ups and gachas to unlock your characters and get more power-ups?
Could have always done. I mean, I don't pay money. I actually deleted Fire Emblem Heroes off of my phone because it was taking up too much space with all of its downloads.
Yeah, it's a shame, dude. I really want mobile gaming to be better than this, but it looks like it's never gonna happen. If Nintendo's not gonna do it, no one's gonna fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's good at not necessarily destroying and preying upon you for the most part, but I mean, they're all the same. At this point, it pretty much is. That's what this is. It's completely different story.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the Animal Crossing game? That's one of the worst actors that I've seen. It is literally you have to pay to do anything. It's insanity. Same with that other game that I was playing for a little bit. I forget the name of it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Fire Emblem.
Yeah. It's fun, but there's a point where you get to and you're like, oh, I can't move on unless I pay money. I can just play the same level over and over again. All right. New leaked models show the layout for Super Nintendo World. Leaked models, eh? Very nice. Very nice. So what is Super Mario World?
So Super Nintendo World. They're opening it up in Japan as well as in the United States. I think Japan's coming first at Universal, wherever their studios park is. But they're collaborating with Universal Studios to essentially open up their own like theme park within, kind of like how Harry Potter has their own
Harry
section.
Potter World, all the other DC universe, or whatever. Now
Nintendo is now getting their own world.
That makes sense.
I mean, I'll probably head to Orlando and check it out.
I know you will.
I want to do Harry Potter as well. I haven't done any of them yet. Like, I just don't go anywhere.
The people that I know that love Harry Potter and that have been there love the Harry Potter world.
That's what I've heard. I mean, I grew up with Harry Potter, so it'd be really cool to get down there. But like, I want to wait till this opens up there before I do it. That way, I can hit all of them.
Yeah,
but I mean, Nintendo getting into the theme park business kind of makes sense.
That makes complete sense.
They have enough IPs and enough things they can bring to the table.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. New Pokemon Sword and Shield info coming out.
Yeah, this was an info dump that I was not expecting to see the other day.
Okay, could we get to the tweet at some point in this too?
I'm looking at a tweet now with the video. Is that what you're talking about?
No, did anyone see the tweet where they released like a Pokemon, gigantic something, and it was like the
Gigantamaxing?
Yeah, but there was
the cake. It's wedding cake.
The wedding cake, but like their description of it was really overly sexual.
Really?
Where it was just it was just like the creaming at the bottom becomes rock hard, providing armor or something, and like you're just because it's a wedding cake or whatever, but you're just reading this like. You could interpret this a lot of different ways. Is all I'm saying.
All I know is the designs that they keep rolling out for these different new Pokemon. I'm liking them. They're not, they're pretty interesting. Nothing comes out and says like I hate it.
The emo one, Alistair.
So those are the two new gym leaders, but
Oh,
instead of being gym leaders of different towns, they're the same town gym leader, except in one version you fight one of them and in the other version you fight the other. So Alistair's actually only for Pokemon Shield, while B, I don't know how you pronounce it, B, is a fighter type trainer that is the gym leader in Sword of that specific gym. So this is the first time they've actually had it where the same gym has two different leaders depending on what version you're playing. So that's a new change that they've never done before. And it also helps to like really differentiate the games between themselves besides just the usual, oh hey, this version has 15 exclusives, this one has 15 exclusives.
Roly Coly. Rockman.
Yeah, it was the Gigantamax Alcremie. Because Alcremie apparently is a new fairy-type cream Pokemon who produces whipped cream often used by pastry chefs to make delicious desserts. The happier
Slightly
Alcremie,
disturbing.
the richer the whipped cream. When
And it's
attacked,
very-
Alchemy throws a sweet scented cream to blind or distract the opponent, and it's just whipped cream and strawberries.
The giant berry decorations on Alcremie's body are as hard as diamonds.
They're literally just turning
Gigantic.
turning anything into a Pokemon.
Yeah,
It'll launch high-calorie cream missiles around itself.
High calorie.
no, this
Any
is where
Pokemon
we got,
that touches this cream will be filled with energy and euphoria,
is that what it
but at
says?
the same time will fall into a state of complete confusion.
Is that what someone's memeing at it? I hope.
Yeah, the
No,
Pokemon
this
jizzes on you. We get it.
It's the official description.
There's many other
Wait,
Pokemon that
here's the
jizz
other-
on you.
Here's the other real description. for
String shot.
Gigantamax Alcremie has resistance to physical attacks due to the cream pouring out of its body, which hardens when subjected to impact. Fairy type moves used by Gigantamax Alcremie will change to G Max Finale, healing all Pokemon on its side while dealing damage to foes.
It's the G spot.
It's the G-spot.
That's the official Nintendo description.
When's the dildo Pokemon?
Yeah,
That's Diglett.
I'm sorry, Drillbur.
Diglett's a fucking dildo. All right.
to me that's fucking hilarious, but at the same
It's
time,
funny,
like, there is a kind of a question where it's like, I'm starting to wonder if I would buy my child Pokemon.
I'm totally buying Pokemon. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I'm buying Pokemon for me, but if I had a kid, I'd be like sitting here like,
So
so
they
it creams and it gets hard.
they
And
also
it has
introduced
the G Max final.
few new characters besides the gym leaders. In Chairman Rose and Oleana, Rose is the chairman of the Galar region and the president of a large business conglomerate. He made the Pokemon League famous by implementing the gym battles that have the Dynamax phenomenon. This totally screams, hey, bad guy. This is your villain. He's the head of a large business conglomerate. He's the bad guy.
That would make
And-
sense.
Oleana is his, like, secretary. And
You
she
got to
just
take down the man. They should make you fight a Nintendo executive that's trying to implement microtransactions in your iOS games. That would be a more relatable villain.
That'd be meta. I'd be down for it.
You gotta have to talk
I'm
to
so-
the Pokemon team about it.
I
Hey,
mean,
now
I'm
you
so
can also
excited.
get an early purchase bonus of the downloadable version. You get 12 quick balls.
What the fuck is that?
I
I'll
I-
still buy it. I don't care, but like,
you
what
can
the
get
fuck
12
is that?
quick balls in the game for like barely any in-game, like, I don't want to say in-game money because you shouldn't be spending real money for in-game shit.
Oh, yeah, it's not in game.
It just seems really silly to say that this is a purchase bonus.
well, it's like old GameStop bullshit.
It's just a pre-order incentive,
Yeah,
so they can
Pre-orders
track
are
their
mostly,
finances.
it's just a really
COD
dumb incentive though,
foreskin.
because 12 quick balls, like, you
Nothing.
it's not that many, and it's not a good Pokeball.
Nah.
This is where we've gotten in gaming, dude. The pre-order incentives are getting lower and lower just because
Good,
most
they
people
should.
pre-order.
No, and it's because most people shouldn't pre-order. Stop incentivizing it.
Yeah.
Don't pre-order games. Wait for reviews.
Fire Emblem
Unless
3.
it has.
It's
Unless
still,
it has.
just not. It's Pokemon's still gonna sell like fucking hotcakes when it
I mean,
comes
it's
out.
got Yamper, dude. It's got a little Corgo.
It
that
does
looks
have
like
adorable
a
corgi
party,
Pokemon.
like a pool ring around it. Okay.
In the electric heart shaped butt, it's pretty cute.
Wait, why are Pokemon fans so mad about Sword and Shield? There's an
Oh, that's
article.
the national. That's the national. So they've reached the point where they're gonna have over 1,000 Pokemon now, and it's just not. They're not putting every single Pokemon from every single game into this Pokemon. As in, not that like you can't catch them all, you can't even import some Pokemon. They said it was for quote unquote balance reasons for competitive, and because it was high quality animations take a long time to do for 1,000 different Pokemon. When people are starting to see that in a lot of the footage, they're reusing animations from the 3DS, and some of the textures in the game, like some of the tree textures, look essentially like they're tree textures from Ocarina of Time on the N64. So a lot of people are kind of up in arms, like mad they're not going to be able to have their complete 1,000 Pokemon Pokedex in this game, and that some of their favorite Pokemon won't be playable.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem also stems is that they have Pokemon Home. So you have Pokemon Bank, which is where you can upload your Pokemon from the 3DS games in there, and then you can move them to Home, and then from Home to Sword and Shield. But the problem is once you move them from Bank to Pokemon Home, you can't reverse that. And if you can't put them to Sword and Shield, which is the only place you can put Pokemon from Pokemon Home into, they're essentially locked, and you can't access them at all. So people are the whole hashtag was bring back national decks, and a lot of people are pissed about it. But I still think it's a fraction of the fan base that's mad, and this game will still sell like fucking gangbusters.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're still gonna buy it anyway.
I don't care about.
Oh yeah,
that.
exactly.
I get why people care about that, but I don't care about that. I haven't bought the last 5 Pokemon games.
Yeah. And they said they might bring some of the Pokemon back later after the game releases. I guess you could consider that as like updates or DLC. I don't know. People get attached to stupid things.
Yeah. Yeah, no one really. That's a small niche thing.
It's
Well,
a
I do-
very
I
small
do-
fraction that's mad
It
on the
is.
internet.
It is, but I will say, like, I do somewhat understand the argument of it, because other games I would understand it less, but like Pokemon, the whole point is to collect them. It's a collection game.
Oh yeah, no, I
then
totally agree.
Then you're being told you can't have your collection. I can see how someone would resent that. Yes.
Well, you can't have your collection in the full game, but you can have your collection still in another medium, which is Pokemon Home.
Right, but that's not the same thing.
But
I
exactly.
get why people would not like that. I don't care.
And the competitive scene, like it's the competitive scene alone for Pokemon is very niche.
I
That
can
is
imagine.
It's smaller than like the competitive scene of like Smash versus the casual players of Smash.
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem is that they're not gonna. Even if they were mad, they're still gonna buy the game.
Oh yeah,
You know,
of course
they're not
are.
gonna do anything about it. It's the problem with any sort of drama that goes on in gaming. You know, someone's upset about a game and they still go on to do record numbers. It happens
Oh, yeah.
all the fucking time.
Trust me, the casual player does not give a shit.
No. Neither does the actual, hardcore player. They might care, but they're still going to play. They're still going to get the game. It's still going to be something that it just happens all
It's
the
still
time.
gonna sell like 4 million copies on day one or some shit.
Yeah. All right. Did you see the Mulan trailer, by the way?
I did not.
It's a new Disney Mulan live action movie.
I could care.
You didn't like Mulan?
I loved Mulan.
It's one
I
of the
don't
better
care
ones.
for live action Disney movies.
It looks pretty good.
Lion King, I'm interested in, and from what I'm hearing, this is not a Mulan remake. It's more in line to be in. It's more in line with like the actual folklore of like the Chinese folklore than it is to be a remake of the straight up Mulan movie.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, now you have my attention with that, because
It-
Aladdin was a straight up just it was Aladdin, but in live action. Beauty and the Beast was Beauty and the Beast, but in live action.
Yeah.
Now you're taking Mulan and you're going, hey, we're not going to make this just Mulan live action. We're actually changing things up, drawing more inspiration from Chinese folklore. And I'm like, okay, now I'm interested. Because now you're making something that's not a remake.
It looks pretty fucking good.
And it doesn't have Will Smith as a genie in it.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't have Eddie Murphy as a Mushu.
It looks good, dude. It looks pretty fucking good.
It looks...
Mulan is probably my favorite Disney princess.
I'm definitely... No, she's up there. I'm definitely seeing this over Aladdin, though.
Oh,
like,
for
it's
sure.
not even a question to me.
No.
I
I heard
interested
Aladdin
in
was good,
Aladdin.
though. I did hear Aladdin was good.
I am interested in Lion King.
Yeah, Lion King looked good. I mean, Disney rarely fucks up. That's the thing. They usually, if their first studio movies are usually pretty fucking good.
I mean, Haley Bailey. At first, I thought it was Haley Berry.
Yeah,
As
everyone did.
Ariel. Everyone did. Like 50-year-old Ariel. That's weird. No, I saw like Haley Bailey. I honestly, I don't get the backlash. I don't care. I don't understand.
I just don't like, what is it, Mermaid. I've never seen it.
I'm
not interested in that.
not. Yeah, The Little Mermaid just
I've-
not a great movie to me.
But don't worry, I'll have to see it every year of my fucking life. 'Cause trust me, every theater at some point... Okay, Music Man and Little Mermaid, every fucking year, a theater will put those shows on.
What is Music Man?
You don't know Music Man?
No.
Music Man's like
Classic.
one of the biggest musicals ever made.
I've never heard of this. I'm going to have to look it up.
Music Man's popular enough that at the 4th of July Trump event, they were singing a song from it.
Maybe I've heard the song.
Is it the sound of-
I've literally never heard of Music Man.
is it Music Man or is it The Sound of Music?
It's Music Man.
Okay.
Sound of Music is a movie. That's a different movie.
Well, it's,
Different play.
oh, so yeah, I was gonna say it's a different musical.
Right. The Sound of Music is World War II Austria.
Okay, yeah.
And then Music Man is about a con man in the 30s trying to sell an entire town musical instruments and get away, and he has to become their band teacher in the process. He's just trying to con
I've
school, but then
never-
he falls in love with the music teacher there.
I've never in my life heard of this. I swear to you.
More theaters should put on Guys and Dolls. That's a good show.
And trust me enough to.
I haven't heard of that either.
Really? Oh man.
No.
I'm
I'm not a
would-
big theater guy.
Sinatra.
No, that's okay. That's fair.
Sinatra.
If you were to look up Philly right now, I'm sure there's a Music Man building sometime this year in Philly, like 100% guaranteed.
Let's check it out.
Because it makes
The Odd
money.
Couple. I'm terrible. I
The
saw
Music
produ-
Man in Oakland this Thursday, 12 a.m.
I saw a production of The Odd Couple that a buddy of mine was in, and there's this scene where like one of the characters is just like pouring his heart out, and the way that the actor who was doing it was doing it, I was the only person in the audience who was laughing uncontrollably, and I'm pretty certain I got a lot of people look at me weird. It was really funny.
That's fair.
I've seen Cats.
Yeah, Music
Never
Man
seen
is
that.
Music Man.
It's like up there.
Music Man is up there with Cats, like that, but it's even more.
Is it
up there
good?
'cause it's older.
Would you recommend me go see it for my
Yeah,
first time?
I've-
I've never seen it.
I'd say see it once. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like the quintessential American musical.
Okay.
It was the first American musical that was like, oh, we can actually do this now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Book of Mormon.
Have you seen that?
I saw a hand cam version of the original run on Broadway because somebody brought in a camcorder and recorded it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Really good. I hope they make a movie out of
It's
it.
been a very long time since I've been to like an actual theater. I might have to go.
Last show
set
I
that
saw
up.
was Fiddler on the Roof, I think. Yeah, Fiddler on the Roof.
I'm gonna have to go check out some shows, man. Slacking.
I saw
Fiddler on the
Funny.
Roof is also like my people. I'm, Russian Jew. So
There you
when my
go.
family got kicked out of Russia from the Tsar, like my ancestry, that's where my family comes from. Is the Fiddler on the Roof? It's like that's my family.
Doobie on the Roof.
I'll fall.
And then did you see the Keanu Reeves mod for Metal Gear Solid 5?
I did not see that.
Oh yeah, he's in there. There's a mod, and you can play as Keanu. So if you're waiting to play some Keanu Cyberpunk, you can get a little head start. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a great game, by the way. Go play it.
The Phantom Keanu.
The Phantom Keanu. Whoa.
Whoa, Fire Emblem.
Have to infiltrate this building. Whoa. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It takes roughly 80 hours to play one of the 3 routes. Okay.
Yeah, so there's the 3 houses. Apparently, each one takes 80 hours. That's if you want to, I guess, they said without skipping cutscenes or dialogue. So I guess you could speed it up if you were to skip cutscenes and stuff like that.
So what is that? I'll be like an extra 2 hours, 3 hours total.
Yeah, like, so what they're telling me is if I want to play through it 3 times to do each house route, I'm looking at 240 hours.
Yeah. It's a good amount of time.
3 weeks from Friday? Yeah, 3 weeks from Friday. Let's go.
No life.
I'll be no lifing 240 hours of my life.
Stream it.
No, I'm really happy about that.
Oh hell yeah! I love games that with super long playtimes. Are you kidding me? Get my bang for my buck. 240 hours out of a $60 title.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's an excessive amount. See, that's too long for me, dude. That's way too long.
And the thing about Fire Emblem 2 is their routes are always their routes usually are like actually different.
That's what I'm interested in seeing, because the way that everything I've read about this is you have this whole like high school, like school phase, but there is a time jump that then jumps forward 5 years, but you can still do stuff at the school. And I'm really intrigued of how the story is going to diverge after that time jump, because I have a feeling each route would be the same generally until the time jump, until the time skip, where then you follow one house through the time skip. So I'm assuming the first, I don't know, I don't want to say half because I don't know how long it is before this time jump. If it is the first half of the game, then maybe I'm looking at 40 hours for each different house in general, because once I play one house in just the regular high school mode before the time skip happens, it's probably not going to be that different. Almost kind of like how Fire Emblem Fates, if you play any of the 3 routes, the first, I think, like 8 chapters are always the same. That's why it gives you the option to skip that and just start from chapter 9 of each game if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I'm intrigued. It looks good. It's on the Switch. I can still play it handheld in bed.
It's the best way to play.
That's how I consume my Fire Emblem, is in bed.
Good. And that's the dream, dude. If I can do everything from bed, I'm a happy boy. We're getting to a future where that's almost possible. You know what I mean? You literally work from bed, play from bed, sleep in bed. Shit. All we need to do is figure out how to shit in bed. That is
the Wally people on the ship, just like in the chairs.
Yeah. I would not be opposed to that future, okay? All right. Last of Us rumors, February launch, 4 special editions for Last of Us Part 2. Probably
4?
My most anticipated game next to Cyberpunk. I'm the biggest Last of Us fan.
Would you get this? Would you get the special edition with the Ellie statue?
No.
Yeah, that's where I was going. It's like, where's my pyramid? Where's my is it an?
Where's my $800 collection?
Yeah.
No. I'm not that big of a fan, so I guess I'm not the biggest fan.
I need it chiseled out of what you call gold, but it's really a canvas bag.
Oh, Fallout 76.
Yeah, so February they're suggesting.
I mean, I'm trying to think of what's coming out in February, and I can't really think of a lot.
There's not much.
Cyberpunk is March.
It is a good time.
But also, like,
March is already loaded. If
Yes.
you look, just like the 1 week alone that has both with the new Watch Dogs Legion and Final Fantasy VII Remake in that same week.
or more importantly, March is Cyberpunk month.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're not going to want to put this in March.
No.
February.
You put it in February.
That makes sense. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. There's not really much happening in that month that I can think of.
Actually, they should put it out now because there's nothing going on now. You put it out now, And I'm a happy customer. I'll buy your stupid fucking special
Or
edition.
is there
should release
anything
it when
even
it's ready.
happening until Cyberpunk
No.
for PlayStation?
I can't remember.
New Madden.
Yeah, new man.
No, I'm talking like.
FIFA 20 will drop and still
there
be like
any-
the most popular video game of the
Is
year.
there any PlayStation exclusive coming out that I can even think of right now?
I don't know.
Can't.
Ghosts of Tsushima, but
That's a PS5 launch date. That's a
Is it?
PS5 launch game, honestly.
Death Stranding. But
Death Stranding, okay, yeah, but that's not that's multi-system, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Is that PS4 exclusive?
It's always shown on PS4s, but I think I don't know. Uh,
I swear Death Stranding was multi-plat.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just think it's always shown with the Sony stuff.
Death Stranding reportedly only a time PS4 exclusive. It's really not confirmed, but they're saying that it's likely to come to PC after a PlayStation 4 timed exclusive.
So it'd be a timed exclusive.
And then it might come to PC. It looks like it's probably not coming to any other consoles, which is just the Xbox, really. It's the only other.
Well, I mean, there's no Xboxes in Japan, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that. There's just that.
Okay, so Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Which is what, November?
Yes.
Yeah, November.
Okay.
Interesting. Other than that, like, I guess Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, whatever else they showed us.
Next year's going to be stacked.
This is not PlayStation. They know the PS5's coming. They're not wasting time trying to.
They're going to end us out on a good year, I think. Or start us off on a good year, rather.
Yeah, like I said, Ghost of Tsushima will be a game that comes out on PS4, but it'll come out same day on PS5, and it'll run and look and play a hell of a lot better on the PS5.
Yeah. What is this? What is this Metal Wolf Chaos?
So Metal Wolf Chaos,
XD,
Devolver XD, Devolver Digital.
I'll play anything from Devolver.
You haven't heard of Metal Wolf?
They teased this they showed this last year's E3 presentation, and we were still waiting for it. So Metal Wolf Chaos was a game that came out in Japan only. It never came to the West. It was an Xbox exclusive in Japan, and it is as crazy as anything Devolver has usually put out, where you play as the President of the United States, who is piloting a mech suit, and you're leading an army against the country's vice president and his rebellious military.
That sounds fucking awesome.
And it's
a lot of the reasons why they didn't bring it to the West was because, like, I think it came out in 2004, and it was kind of like the post 9/11 climate of 2004. Didn't really warrant coming out in the West at the time.
Yeah, and then it was
definitely a time that it can totally work now.
That was right around, when Cheney was already shooting people. So
yeah. Oh yeah. So this totally works now. If
God damn! Imagine Trump in a mech suit fighting Vice President Pence and his Christian rebellion.
That would be weird.
Who should be the main character. That would be amazing.
But the whole game's it is that over the top.
It's just super over the top, giant just action, giant robots, America. I'm totally.
But made by Japanese people, right?
It's from software.
Okay. Oh, is it?
It's from
that's
software.
what I said. Yeah, no, this was from software. It was one of their first games.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's awesome! I've never heard of this.
I mean, I didn't expect you to. It never came out to the West.
I want to fucking try to. Oh, now I want to see the Devolver. Now I'm excited for Devolver Digital's release of it.
Yeah, and it's from software, so it's at least decent.
Yeah, I want to see how they viewed America back then. I kind of want to watch some videos of the original.
The voice acting is all intact from the original.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, it's only the animations have been updated, really.
So it's a what is what?
So
what
it's
do we
more
call
like
it?
a remaster.
Yeah, remaster.
Like the modernized. They're calling it a modernized re-release.
Okay. Yeah, remaster.
But yeah, it's so over the top.
All right. Is there any other gaming news? I think that's pretty much it. Yes. All right. Let's jump into some tech and then get out of here. Couple stories here. Radeon 5700 XT. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, did we talk? We talked about Super, right?
Yeah.
I think Super.
Yeah.
But I think with their price drop, it's fine. I think if you're looking in the 350 to 400 range, it's competitive against the 360 Super and the 360, 2060, whatever. God
Yeah.
damn, there's too many names now. The 20 against the 2060 Super and the 2060, I think it looks fine. But if you want to spend that extra $100, just buy a 2070 Super. If you're
Right.
already gonna spend 400, is kind of where I'm thinking. But if you're at a hard budget of 350, 400, you have options now because
Yeah.
they're both pretty competitive.
The only reason you would really be at a hard budget is if you're building a full PC. So if you're upgrading just the GPU,
Well, that's what a lot of people are doing, because
Yeah.
they've been waiting for Ryzen.
right.
So I think it's okay. I wish it was a little bit more competitive, but the things that I think are important about it are the way the architecture is looking, where this looks like this is the start and this isn't just like Vega where this is the end of that architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds like they can actually push this farther, which they couldn't really do with Vega. So like maybe in 6 months you'll see 5,800 and then these drop in price. That could be something, and that's what I'm more interested in at this point with that, I guess.
Right.
I think it's fine. It's nothing exciting. It's good. I wouldn't not recommend it, but I would recommend if you are already gonna spend 400, maybe try to pinch together that extra $100.
Yeah, and looking at the benchmarks, it kind of does good in some areas, it's bad in other areas. It's really not a clear, concise decision either. So it's just really just another option. It's not like a must-have or a clear competitor, Yeah, and then the RTX 2070 basically beats it on everything.
Right, because the RTX 2070 Super it's a 2080 basically.
Yeah.
What was launched as the 2080. So like, I would, if you can pony up the extra $100 for whenever those actually release, those seem a lot more tempting. But if your budget is 2060 Super, I would buy this over the 2060. The 2060 Super is where it gets a little dicey because I want to see what's going to happen with the pricing of the 2060 because Nvidia got rid of the 2070 and I think they're going to get rid of the 2080, but they kept the 2060 base. So if the 2060 goes down in price, that could be interesting. But
Yeah.
like, as a 2060 competitor, I think this is a fine choice depending on what type of game as you play. That would be my deciding factor is the games I play the most, which card does better. If that was my hard budget.
Yeah, like it does really well Witcher 3. Like any game that needs just like good memory, like fast memory, it does pretty well in. So Monster Hunter, it does better than the 2060 Super. Witcher 3, it does better than the 2060 Super.
And if you get it in the right situations and right games, it beats the 2070 Super, surprisingly. But I think that's going to be more of a rarity than an expectation.
Yeah.
So like AAA games, like especially Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's a really optimized game, especially towards an AMD, because it's a console game. Like console AAA ports, this card could crush because that's what they're used to working with.
See, what's interesting is that it doesn't do well 1440p. It seems the 2060 Super seems to beat it in 1440p.
Right, the 2060 Super is a 2070. And like I think they're close, but yeah. Like I think if you have the right setup, this card's going to beat a 2060. But if you have the other
How much is this card?
They dropped it down to 400 base for the XT instead of 450, and I think the one went down to 350 instead of 370 or 380. But at 4K, it beats everything but the 27 Super, both of them. because the 2060 Super still isn't great for 4K.
Yeah, it's 400 for the XT, 350 for the 5700.
Yeah, and depending on the game, it beats a 2070 Super. Like Metro Exodus, it beats a 2070 Super at 1440p.
And then the super cards are
400, 500.
yeah.
So its main competitor is that 2060 Super. So how it's stacking up pretty well with that for most games. Older games, it's like you're gonna like Nvidia more, but like some of the new games, I'm intrigued. It's a good card. It's a good launch. I just wished for more, I guess is how I stand.
Yeah, that's how we've been feeling with AMD's GPUs recently.
Yeah, well, this one even more so because this is actually a good card. Then I would also say don't buy Radeon 7 now. This card flat out beats Radeon 7 sometimes, and it's like $300 less.
Yeah, that's a little embarrassing.
Unless you need it for compute.
Imagine if you bought a Radeon 7.
If you're using it for compute stuff where you want that HBM2, the Radeon 7 still crushes it.
Oh yeah.
But like for gaming, if you're just gaming, no, this is way better.
Oh
than
yeah,
the
this is
Radeon 7.
the GDDR6.
Right. This is just the gaming card.
Yeah, that is a little bit different. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad of a release. It's tough against the 2060 Super.
Right. Well, no, and I think you could make arguments it's better than the 2060 Super, to be honest. But I think you're gonna really have to dig into benchmarks yourself and figure out like, what type of game you play the most, and then buy it based off of that.
Yeah.
But it's better than I was expecting, and especially since they dropped the price. If they hadn't have dropped the price, I would be laughing at it. Not that it's bad, again, just like value-wise wasn't there. And value-wise, is there mostly.
Yeah.
So I think on most parts the performance is slightly better than a 2060. There's some cases where the 2060 is going to be better than it, but they're pretty close. So it depends on how much do you actually believe in ray tracing at the moment,
or 4K.
Yeah, but I want to do 4K in a 2060.
No. No, it looks like if you want 4K, you're gonna have to spend $500 because really none of these cards can do 4K yet.
No, this is a 1440p card.
Yeah, or 1080.
Yeah,
it does pretty well 1080.
High frame rate 1080. Yeah, but like to me, I think it's fine, especially with the price drop. It's fine because that was going to be my other counterpoint. Is like I'm not going to buy a 2060 even Super for ray tracing. Like I just don't think it. Like even the 2060 Super is looking pretty cool for the price and what it is. Even though I still think it's overpriced. I think these cards are all overpriced. But I still don't think the 2060 is good enough that I'd really use it for ray tracing ever. I just don't get enough performance out of it for me to want to hit a switch that says, yeah, lower my performance.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to find Premiere Pro benchmarks to see how it does productivity-wise. From what I saw, there's been a lot of... And what's going on with the drivers? Isn't there some driver issues?
Yeah, it's AMD graphics drivers day one. They suck. They'll get fixed in time, but no, AMD's...
Do they always suck? Is that what you're trying to allude to?
Yes. No, the last couple of launches, reviewers have always bitched about that because AMD has not been the greatest at getting out their drivers day one or pre-release.
Yeah, so maybe wait until most of the driver issues are cleared up before you go buy one.
People were buying it. Well, it's also that, and it's also games haven't made them work for them yet, because that's a story we can get into later. People went out and bought the new Ryzen CPUs and loaded up Destiny and can't play because Destiny hasn't updated their game yet.
And I mean, that's not something that AMD can even...
No.
Well, I guess the only way that AMD could be at fault is if that they weren't providing developers the right information, but I don't think that that's
I'm
the
pretty
issue.
sure Activision Blizzard got the right information, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if it was an indie studio, I think that could be an argument, but like, if you're like, it's Activision or EA or like one of the major companies, I have an inkling they probably got the stuff.
Yeah, and then there's this
That would be my
EPOS Vox video where he's talking about how it is for streamers and content creation. I haven't really seen it yet. I kind of skimmed through it. They were talking about driver issues being a big issue right now.
Yeah, and
But-
I would be interested in seeing that. But
Yeah, I want to see it.
for pure games, it's fine. Like that, I don't know what else to say about it. For the price range, it's pretty good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's exactly it in the 2060 go toe to toe.
Yeah.
Sometimes the 2070.
Yes, if you want an all red machine, you can get one for a pretty reasonable price.
And if you're doing 1440p, this is more than a good enough card. More than a good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Mac or
Well, I
Apple.
was gonna say, did you want to talk about the other thing?
No, I don't know what the other thing is. What is it?
Well, it also came out with the AMD graphics card on the same day.
What? What are you talking about?
Good Lord, Wayne. Ryzen came out.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I thought
the
we
other
talked about that last week, didn't we?
No, we were talking about it, but it didn't come out till Sunday. So we haven't had benchmarks till Sunday.
All right, so let's look at benchmarks. I haven't seen
It's
them
good.
yet. I mean, we pretty much knew that they were going to be.
It's not as good as I was hoping, but it's really fucking
Yeah,
good.
that's AMD's tagline, dude.
Well, no, this is in a different sense, and this was because of how overblown some of the leaks were getting, and I knew that was happening. But the actual end results, it's good. I would still say Intel is what they want to call their quote unquote real world performance king or whatever bullshit terms they use. Gaming, it comes down to what you want out of gaming. So currently most games it was looking like Intel is still maybe about 5 frames per second faster than AMD's new chips. But AMD's new chips were showing a lot better frame uptime and stability.
Interesting.
So while they were 5 frames lower, they were keeping a higher frame rate and more stable and more often. And that's not even going into the other
But
stuff.
it's also way cheaper.
And it is way cheap. Okay, so let's get into it. A
That's the crux.
$200 chip is almost as good as the i9-9900K. The $300 chip is straight just an i9-9900K, a little bit better. And then the 12 core for the same price as the i9-9900K just fucking demolishes it. Yeah, no, Intel's screwed. There's no way that you can't beat around the bush. Intel is still slightly better for games, and that's about it. And when I say better, their idea of better is like a couple of frames more. But if you do anything else while you're also gaming, like run a YouTube video, open OBS, anything like that, then AMD was doing better. Frame rate too.
Yeah.
The 12 core is the 12 core, especially multi-threaded, is so fucking good that it beat the i9-9900K in Adobe Premiere
Yeah, it's beating it
by a lot.
a considerable
Like
amount.
a good couple of minutes plus. And
At least in this benchmark that I'm seeing, it's beating it.
It's every benchmark I found, it's beating it. The 12 core is.
But even the 3700 it's on par with the 9900K.
Right, and they're doing this out of just pure raw power because Adobe Premiere is heavily weighted towards Intel due to optimization, but also the way Intel chips run. It's way better optimized and suited for high IPC, high megahertz, etc. Like it wants core power over more cores. And these things are so fucking fast that they're still beating that.
Yeah, it's just eating up whatever you throw at it, basically.
Which Premiere doesn't do. Like Premiere doesn't Premiere's really bad at actually.
They are known to be terrible optimized.
Yeah, no, like
pieces of software.
They're bad at using multiple cores. They only want to use like 5 cores if possible.
Yeah, it's just really just eating through it, which is promising now because it's only going to get better as it gets more optimized. If Adobe wants to do that, I'm curious to see. Let's see if they have like DaVinci.
At this point,
I'm curious to see DaVinci results, if there are any.
DaVinci is probably going to eat it if anyone has them yet. Because DaVinci doesn't care. DaVinci wants cores. DaVinci wants everything you'll give it.
Yeah, that's what I've been using. I haven't been using Premiere. It's so unoptimized. DaVinci's so much faster. It's on par with Final Cut.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find some benchmarks for DaVinci.
But yeah, right now Ryzen's at the spot where I'm recommending Ryzen over Intel everything, except for laptops. We talked about that a bit, where that's what it was looking like would happen, and that kind of did happen.
Yeah.
Where like their $300 chip is as good as Intel's $500 chip, a little bit better, and their $200 chip's arguably pretty close to being as good. That's absurd. And this is why we wanted Ryzen Max.
Yeah.
But the new R7s, those seem like a cool sweet spot for gaming / video creation. Because the performance coming out of those for $300, like that's your old sweet spot i7 price range. And it looks good.
Yeah, it really... I don't know what Intel... They're really going to have to do like what NVIDIA did and either release something that's slightly upclocked and then drop the price on whatever they're offering now.
No, they have to drop the prices because Steve from Gamers Nexus, this was his point too, and he was kind of laughing that, oh yeah, Intel so far, their response has been the i9-9900KS, which is a 5 gigahertz i9, except he has never found an i9 that can overclock to 5 gigahertz or more. But that costs more money.
Right.
But his point is the normal i9 can already do that. They even tested like this. The new Ryzen chips were beating the overclocked i9 scores. So I think they're just gonna have to lower their money.
Yeah, they're gonna have to drop the price. They're gonna have to do what NVIDIA did, just drop the price.
Dude, they're gonna have to do what AMD has always done in the past. Like it. Especially, I think it's the 3700X. That one, like the 8-core, that one seems really nice. Like if you're pure, like 100% pure content creation, sure, go get the 12-core. If you still mostly play games but do some content creation, you'd probably want to stick with the 8. Save the $200 because that in game performance, I think the 3700X was just the top performer because 8 cores just do better. You can get a higher IPC, you can get a higher clock on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would only get the 3900X if you're doing a lot of editing and a lot of compute.
If you're running a DaVinci box and that's all it's doing, the 3900X looks like the best bargain I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like if I were making a server right now, oh, bud, that's really tempting. Because that is as good as most of my server chips. That's better than most of my server chips. It's a $500 fucking CPU.
Yeah, its Maxwell render score is insane. Its Crystal Disk Mark is very nice. Cinebench scores blowing it out the water. Not many Resolve benchmarks, I find. That's okay.
I think they'll come out. I think they'll come out, yeah.
There's always a couple people that want to check that out.
That, and it's also AMD is usually pretty good with Linux support, and that's where you're going to find your true DaVinci tryhards who are going to test all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because they want to they want to just buy 5 of these and daisy chain them together.
So for a 4K H.264 update or render, sorry, using a CUDA card, the 3900X is by far the winner with the Threadripper 2920X right behind it. Then the i9 7900X, and then the Ryzen 7 3700X, and then the i9 9900K.
It's beating all of that. It's beating all of the high-end desktop parts. Yeah, for $500. That's absurd. It's actually absurd.
Yeah, that's a pretty rad card.
12 core. They're gonna release a 16 core in a couple of months.
Yeah, Intel's gonna have to drop their price. It's just the only way they're gonna be able to effectively compete.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like the 3700X is $329, and it was doing that good. Especially for multi-threaded, it was beating the i9, and it's $329 versus $489. But then in game performance,
And it consumes less power.
Well, that's where we can get into an argument. The chip itself consumes less power, but the chipset doesn't. There's been a lot of things where the chipset's kind of.
Oh, interesting.
It's power hungry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the benches will look good, but in reality are really pulling more from the wall.
Right. Well, you're still going to probably be pulling about the same, but it's mostly because of the chipset. That's why the chipsets have fans on them and crap like that. It does pull a lot more power from the chipset. Or the chipset rather pulls like 15 watts of power versus like 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? Even the gaming benchmarks from what I'm seeing, at least at 1080 and 1440, they are pretty similar to the 3700X.
They're close, yeah. But like if you were just pure gaming,
yeah, you would have to go 3700X.
I don't think there's a big enough difference there to justify $200 if your main focus is gaming.
No.
Now, when I say main focus is gaming, I also mean like content creation and other things like that. Because that is something that I found interesting too, because I looked this up during all of those things. Back when I bought my first Ryzen here, which is what I'm using, if you wanted to play games, the 7600K was the chip to get. But if you wanted to do games and other things like we're doing right now, or do anything else, the 1600 was the chip to get. Nowadays, 2 years later, because of what AMD basically forced Intel to like up their own core counts, and all the core counts have been going up, I saw people going back and rebenching those two CPUs. The 1600's beating the 7600K and like everything, because games are getting more optimized for more cores.
Yeah, so, that makes sense.
My point is, if you want 8 cores, 16 threads, which you do, or if you want 6 cores, 12 threads, which you do, I'm recommending AMD at all points at this point, because the gaming performance between all of their tiers is so close that you're not going to really miss anything out, especially when you factor in the stability. But it's a lot more future-proofing actually having hyper-threading, actually having those cores, actually having those threads. I'm impressed. I'm impressed as hell.
Yeah, and it is, the 3700X is cheaper than a 9700K, which is the card that I have. Now this is the question, because the 9700K is better for gaming. Pretty much just down the board, it's better for gaming. Do you pay the extra $50 for the 9700K, or do you go with the 3700X?
Depends on what you're doing. If you're just gaming, I think you can make an argument for the 9700K, but I wouldn't go at it fully. I think that's a much harder argument nowadays, because the 9700K is better and the 9900K is better, but not by much.
No, it's not by much.
It's not by much, and it's one of those things where if you're just gaming and you only care about that number on the bottom corner of your screen, buy the Yeah, 9700K. But if you're doing anything else while gaming, I would take the 5 frames less if it means I can also have 8 windows open at the same time.
Right.
Personally, because that's the other thing is if you go into tests that like Gamers Nexus have done and other people between those two, the second you open OBS and start recording or you start streaming or doing anything like that, then the Ryzen's killing it. Pure frame rate, even in the game.
Yeah, I mean, just the productivity side, it's better. 3700X is better than the 9700K. It's really just gaming that the 9700K beats it, just raw gaming. So those would be the two that I would consider really: the 3700X, the 9700K.
And I will say,
and then the 3900X if you really want like a beast of a productivity machine and a good gaming CPU as well.
Yeah. And if you're going I will say if you're buying anything less than a 9700K, just buy AMD.
Casual says, gotta factor in security. Did Intel fix the zombie load flaw?
No, remember it's their pillar of stability.
It's one of their pillars.
That good old Intel pillar of stability, security.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Hopefully AMD can figure out how to really challenge NVIDIA on the GPU end. Because I'm personally still leaning towards an NVIDIA card. I really like what NVIDIA does.
Yeah, I am too, to be honest. But I'm sitting here. I have absolutely no reason to upgrade from Ryzen Gen 1. But like seeing all these numbers, I don't have to. I'm due for a GPU. I might go with a super card. I'm not sure yet. I'm more due for a GPU. Agreed. But part of me just wants to do the whole thing because, yeah. Well, it's just the pricing where it's like if I'm going to spend $500 on a GPU, like I can toss $300 in for a new CPU too.
All right.
I shouldn't, but I might. We'll see.
Or do you drop $99,999 for a new MacBook Air that was just updated by Apple?
No.
Or do you buy the $1,200 13-inch MacBook Pro that was just updated by Apple? So really, all they did. The new MacBook Air, you're getting True Tone, which is actually really nice to have. I don't know if it's worth that much to you to buy a Mac. That's something that you gotta, decide. But it has that plus the new Butterfly, the new Gen 3 Butterfly keyboard, whatever that is.
They updated it to the new keyboard and they gave it the new screen. That's it. The actual internals are the same.
Yeah, the MacBook Air doesn't interest me at all. I don't think it's a good deal.
I think it's better now, but I agree. It's not very interesting to me. But what I was trying to say earlier is I am happy. Like the thing that made me the happiest out of the new Mac stuff is they finally made their student discount stuff relevant again.
Yeah, $9.99 will get you the. But listen to what they get you. It gets you a dual-core 8th gen Intel chip, i5. Yeah. 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, 128 gigabytes of SSD storage. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all.
Yeah, that's what $1,200 got you last year from Apple.
So I still just don't think it's enough.
$200 less, it's better.
I still don't think it's a very good deal. I mean, you're really paying for the screen, and you're paying for the form factor and the Mac ecosystem, which is worth it's worth a lot. It's worth a good amount of money because a lot of people pay for it. I like to stay in the Mac ecosystem as well, and I'm willing to pay whatever tax that they put. But I think the real story is the MacBook Pro. Still, I still think that.
I do too, but I have to give them. I just have to give them credit. To me, this is at $1,000. It's a lot better than that at $1,200.
Oh, for sure.
And I think the biggest reason why they did it is because, I mean, crap, you've been able to buy those things at Best Buy for like $1,000 now, anyways, all the time. It's always on sale for $1,000. And then the other thing I have to give them credit for, and this is where Grimes can get mad. I don't know. Well, I love Apple, but I also really hate Apple sometimes. But I have to give them credit. They finally got rid of the MacBook with the 5-year-old CPU in it.
Yeah.
Today they finally stopped selling it.
Yeah, the 12-incher.
Yeah, no, the old 13.
Yeah, they killed it.
Finally,
gone.
with the Broadwell CPU in it, they finally killed it because they were still selling it after they released this one.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It seems like they're just thinning inventory, cleaning things up. This is not a very big move. The MacBook Pro, you get it $1,300. You can get a quad-core 8th gen i5, or you can get the quad-core 8th gen i7. You can get up to 16 gigabytes of DDR3, and it still starts at 128 gigabytes of storage.
But
Yes,
it's 8th gen.
8th gen, yeah.
But it's 8th gen. This is where that, like, you were almost there.
I wish it was an AMD chip, to be honest.
I'd same to you, but like
It would be more powerful at the same
cool
price.
if we could at least make it a 9th, but hey, it's at least an update. And again, they knocked $100 off instead of the $30 off their student discount has always been. Their student discount, I'm sorry to keep harping on that, but like that's why I didn't buy a MacBook again. Like every other company in the world started giving like $100 to a couple $100 off for their laptops if you're a student. And then Apple's sitting here like, we'll give you $30.
Yeah.
$30 is a good deal, right?
Well, that's what it used to be. It used to be $1,000, and you would get like a MacBook. You go and you get your MacBook with your student ID, and that's what so many people did. And they would put it on their Apple credit card or whatever credit card that they opened up to buy the MacBook. And now you can do that again, and you get a MacBook Air, which is, it's a nice laptop. Don't get me wrong, it is a nice laptop.
I mean, like for an average Mac user, no, I think it's completely fine to be honest.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend, yeah, she would love that thing.
Yeah, you get a nice laptop.
I was hopeful for the MacBook Pro, and I'm like,
Me too.
It's bittersweet because I am happy that they updated the 13-inch. I wish they would have gone a little bit farther, put a 9th in it. But I understand why they put an 8th in it. The 8th's fine as long it's a quad core again. Finally, on the base model, we're making baby steps. We're making positive steps here. But like, I just wanted them to wait till they put the new good keyboards in them, the rumored keyboards.
You gotta wait. 2020, man.
They upped it to the 3rd. So congratulations, you just updated it. 2 new laptops to your 3rd gen keyboard. So you just released 2 laptops that are already on a repair list.
Yeah.
Repairs. That's great.
Yeah.
But it's a lot better than it used to be. I guess. I mean, well, no, it like hardware wise, it's better. I like it more, especially when you can get it cheaper with student discount. So that's easy to do. And I guess the pro is you can get a touch bar. Because there is no non-touch bar model now. They all of the MacBook Pros 13 inches have touch bars.
Yeah, you get the T2 chip in the Pro, which is very nice to have.
Depends.
I mean, just encoding wise, it does really well on encoding. So if you were to like do some Logic or some Final Cut, it helps out. And I mean, you don't really need that much power for it. So you have a little editing station. Your 13-inch, you're doing schoolwork and stuff.
No, that's a big pro.
Yeah.
But with the T2 chip, also you can't boot Linux. So.
Oh, there you go. Now you can't boot Linux. But you do get the T2 chip. You get the Retina, like a nice True Tone Retina. I mean, I still would push people towards spending the extra money and getting the 13-inch Pro over the Air.
Oh no, me too. Because
you're just getting a lot more power for your money.
Well, now you are too. Now that they upgraded it to the quad core. Now the power is it's a joke how much better the Pro is power wise. Before it was close at least.
Yeah.
But the other bigger the screens are so much better.
Yeah.
Like and the Air has a good screen, but the MacBook Pro's screen is 600 nits. The Air's is 300 nits.
Yeah.
Pro's a lot better screen. Spend the $200 for it.
I think I read somewhere that the new MacBook Air's Retina screen is 400 nits or something. I might have read something else.
It might be up to 400 now, but last I saw...
I think they updated it to 400 nits.
I haven't seen if they updated it.
Which is fucking insane.
The OG new one that they... Last year's model was 300.
Yeah, that one was a lot lower quality than the 13-inch Pro. So you're probably getting the same screen now on the 13-inch and the Air. I would beg to I would imagine that they're giving the same screen, and that's really where that text
Well,
is
here,
coming in.
check if the Air is P3 now, because the last year's Air was not P3.
That's a good.
And that was the other thing. The Pro has the actual P3 600 nit screen.
Let me see if I can find. Maybe it was Jonathan Morrison's Twitter that I saw that on. Yeah, I would still push you towards the MacBook Pro. I would say spend the extra money because you're going to get essentially a lot more power. Yeah, he says new MacBook Air with True Tone is slept on. You might have missed it, but Apple silently updated the brightness of 400 nits earlier this year. That plus T2 chip and battery life. Okay, so you're getting the T2 chip in the Air as well. Plus 400 nit screen. I don't know if it has the same color accuracy. I'm assuming it's got to be the same screen. Right? Yeah, this would be the 2019. Let's see. DCI P3. No, there's no like definitive answers.
The Pro was rated at 600, I thought. Because Snazzy Labs, that was his comparison of all three. Before, they also killed the 12-inch. Thank God.
Let me see if I can see. I can't find anything right now. Whatever. Besides the fact that might be slightly different. But yeah, anyways, I would still push you towards the MacBook Pro. And if you really need like a good laptop, I would still push you towards the 15-inch. They're pretty badass laptops. They're expensive, but you're going to get a laptop that's going to last you some time if the keyboard doesn't fail on you. You might want to wait to the next.
Yeah, if the keyboard doesn't break.
The next. I haven't had any keyboard issues. So if my anecdote means anything to you, I haven't had any keyboard issues. My laptop, the only problem that I had with my laptop was recently, and I accidentally shut it off when it was updating, like silently updating in the background, and I had to wipe the whole thing and reboot it. But other than that, it's been pretty fucking nice. And what's cool about rebooting it is they make it pretty fucking easy on Apple.
Yeah. But okay.
Oh man, imagine a fucking Ryzen CPU in here.
Right.
They would be so much better.
Right. Or at least their desktops.
Imagine this: 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Make the Hackintosh, the Mac, not the Mac Mini, the Mac Micro, just a Micro ATX computer. Just that's all we want.
Imagine a fucking that or like a fucking like badass all red MacBook. That same price, but you just up everything. You get up the cores, you up the core clock, you up the GPU to the Vega. Man, that would be nice. I don't know. We'll see. And you get the new scissor switches that they're rumored to be releasing soon.
That'd like so the good sick. Old ones when they had the best laptop keyboard and replaced it with the not best.
Probably not going to get that. So if you're expecting their old keyboard, I would say hold your horses there.
Yeah. I'm gonna be waiting for that one.
You'll probably get the same keyboard, just a way lower travel. That's really what I'm expecting.
Right. I'm expecting to have a slightly lower travel. I agree. But if it's like the old one, I'm in because that was a good keyboard. That was a fantastic laptop keyboard in my opinion.
They were the best, dude. No one was able to. That was the selling point. When you went to the Apple store and you put your hands on it, you started pressing the keys. You're like, ooh. Then you use their amazing trackpad. You see the amazing screen. That's all you need to sell it. Now it's kind of like, what the fuck is this you're touching? I like the keyboard, but it's not as. I mean, I'd much rather use a nice mechanical switch.
Yeah, same here. But I will also admit I overharp on the keyboard, but that's also just. It comes from a place of love, but also a place of you just released 2 laptops that are already covered in a new warranty.
Yeah.
For defects. On day one.
I will say this too. Then if you're deciding on getting a Mac or a Windows PC, if you already have a Mac, the trade-in values are really nice, and I think that also goes into their pricing and why there is that Apple tax, because you do get a good amount of money for your trade-ins. Granted, if your laptop is in good condition, it's not a piece of shit. So you know they do have that program as well. you know, you have good options. On the Windows side, I really don't know of many good Windows laptops that I can safely recommend to someone who is
For,
really
like,
just doing like
gear
just
trading?
work.
For like you're talking like a trade into the manufacturer
Yeah.
value. Yeah, no. Not even Microsoft is good at that.
You would have to go to like a pawn shop, sell it, get the cash, and then hopefully, and then
Yeah,
you're
I was
kind of
trying
getting
to sell it on
screwed
eBay.
there.
Yeah, no, Apple holds its retail value a lot better,
Yeah.
especially laptops.
Just
And
make sure
for
you
most of
don't
them, it's
fuck them
good.
up. That's really, and they're
Yeah.
pretty fragile if, you know, if you drop them or something. They're not like a plastic Windows, you know, tank.
But I'll give credit where credit's due. I'm happy they're not trying to sell a 7th gen dual core as a $1,300 laptop anymore.
Or how about this? This is more incremental updates, man. Just silent
Exactly.
incremental updates. We've been wanting this from Apple
Yeah.
for a long time, and we're getting it, and that's awesome.
If they keep doing that, I'm happier. That's
The-
going in a better
This
direction.
this is what everyone should be doing though. Save your money. You're gonna get a Mac Pro with the Pro XDR display, and you're just gonna live a fucking awesome life after that. You're gonna
No,
drop
'cause
about $16,000, but that's okay.
I'm gonna build my $500 Ryzen rig that runs circles around it.
But then you have to get the Pro display with it.
Uh,
It looks so cool, dude. We still haven't seen it yet. We haven't gotten any real reviews on it yet, but I might not even look at the real reviews. I'm just gonna live in this dream world that it's the perfect display.
that uses Thunderbolt.
Yeah. It uses Thunderbolt. All right, finally, Canon has released 2 new cameras, the G5X that I don't care about, and the G7X3, Gordon
we do care
Lang,
about.
which we do care about.
Yeah,
we have
the
a lot to
5X
say about
why,
this.
Why? First though, well, the 5X. Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
The 5X costs more than the 7X because it has a viewfinder on it. Who is going to use that viewfinder?
No one. You barely use it on the. I mean, I have it on the RX and I barely use it. It's nice to have, but it's not worth the upgrade.
I'll use it on my real camera, but I'm not going to spend money for it to use a viewfinder this big.
No, I would have loved that.
Tiny one, like this little tiny hand cam.
I would have loved it if they kept the mic jack that's on the 7X Mark III on the 5X. Because then you get the viewfinder, the mic jack, and the flip out screen. But you don't. You have to choose between them.
I care about the mic jack a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. So you get it's a point and shoot. It's challenging the Sony RX series, and they had. You're saying Gordon Lang was saying that the rumor is they're using the same sensor, which would make a lot of sense.
The older sensor. He thinks it's the RX 100 Mark III sensor.
Yeah, it would make sense.
The 4 and 5, and is Sony up to 6 now? Or is the 6 still what everyone's waiting for?
No, they have the 6 out. Yeah,
that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, it's the Mark III sensor, which is a good sensor, but it's an older sensor. But quality wise, it's good. It looks fine. Camera quality looks more than good enough. But the Mark III sensor doesn't have autofocus.
No, it has autofocus. It doesn't have dual pixel autofocus or phase detection autofocus, like a competent. It's all contrast based autofocus.
It doesn't have autofocus. It has Panasonic Lumix.
Now I had a Mark III and I didn't have any troubles with the autofocus. I don't know.
I think content aware is better on this. Like when it's such a small sensor and you're usually going to be close,
right?
And it's not like, even though it is a very wide open lens, it's not like a huge bokeh monster or anything like that.
Right.
It'll be good enough. It'll be fine.
This is your vlogging camera, your travel camera, your vacation camera, your beach camera. I carry my RX 100 everywhere. It's actually, I gave it to my wife and she never remembers to take it, so I have to remember to bring it. But it's a nice little like pocket camera. It does great video. It sounds nice, like onboard mics sound nice, but now you get the mic jack, and that gives you turns it into a YouTube camera, and it has a flippy screen, so you basically have like a nice YouTube camera now.
And even more for the YouTube stuff, it has a new weird live streaming over Wi-Fi feature.
Yeah,
which that sounds really interesting. This is one of those things where it's like so close. It's Canon, dude. It's fucking Canon. so close to like this could be really good.
So one of the reasons you go with Canon, there's a few reasons. You go with their glass.
You go with this.
You go with their color. So you're gonna get some nice pictures out of this. But you really you're spending the money because you want the good video features as well. And then you go with Canon for their autofocus, none of which is really in here.
Yeah.
So really, you're getting a point and shoot at a considerable amount of money. You're spending about $1,000 for it.
No, $750. It's actually priced cheap.
It's not too bad. It's still $750.
Right, but in comparison to a brand new RX 100 Mark VI,
which is like $1,200. I think it's over $1,000.
So versus $750, I mean it's priced around the price. It's a little bit more expensive than the RX Mark III. And if you're looking at buying a Mark III, just buy this. It's the same thing. It has a headphone jack.
And you're getting headphone jack and Canon color, and Canon's menu system. And but you're missing 24p, which is so weird. You only get 25p, which is something. And 30, right? And you get 1080 up to 120.
Right, but when you go to 100 and 120, there's no sound and no autofocus.
That's pretty standard, though. That's pretty standard
for that size, I guess. Yeah, still a little weird, but no, that's still mostly a Canon thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a Sony sensor, really. That's the same thing with the Sony camera, the RX3.
Yeah, for like the little 1-inch sensors. But I mean, this compared to like an RX0, that would be about the same price. The new RX0.
Yeah, and that camera is weird as fuck. That's a weird fucking camera.
But that also has all of the things we just mentioned.
Yeah.
It has, for some reason, it has a mic input, I'm pretty sure.
And a flip-up screen.
It's
a GoPro with a flip-up screen.
And it's this big, but you can buy it, put it in a cage.
Yeah.
So maybe that's your way to go. I
was seriously considering an RX0 just because of how small and weird it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a good little point and shoot. I mean, if you want to stick with Canon, which a lot of people do, a lot of people really love the images that come out of it. And I would, like, if you're someone who wants to do like a lot of Instagram, a lot of Snapchat, this is the camera that you go with.
No, like I'm interested in it because it has a mic jack, but at the same time, it's now also the fourth Canon camera in a row to not have 24p, even though it has 30 and 25. But it's also in more Canon weirdness. It's the first thing other than almost anything. I think this is the first Canon camera that doesn't crop at 4K.
Yeah, other than like their cinema stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, other than what, like a C300. This is the only Canon camera that doesn't crop at 4K.
Yeah, it doesn't crop it, but that's basically because the sensor is already fucking cropped like 6 times in. It's already a 1-inch sensor. I mean, if they would have cropped the 4K on this, I would have fucking threw all of my Canon camera stuff in the garbage. Imagine cropping on a 1-inch sensor. That would be ridiculous. But yeah, to their credit, they don't. It's 4K. You get 4K,
but also,
man.
What Canon's done lately, they would be the one to crop it.
Now, I am curious to see.
I want to see the size, because this is what I want. I would just want this with a flip-up screen.
No, it's way smaller than that.
I know, but this is good. This is good. I don't need super tiny pocket size because it is very small. It's like a pocket cam.
No, it's like that big. It's pretty small.
No, I know. Yeah. But the other thing that was weird about it too is, okay, so they added the mic input, but there isn't a hot shoe.
No, you would have to get some sort of bracket.
A bracket or like 2-sided 3M tape. You know,
well, what I keep telling these fucking camera companies is, I know they're listening, just remove the flash. No one really uses the onboard flash. Maybe put the flash in the lens ring or underneath the lens or something, and then stick a little fucking hot shoe mount on the top that you can attach accessories to.
Yeah, for those little tiny cameras. Yeah. Well, even if you keep the flash, just still put a hot shoe on top. Or not even a hot shoe. Put a cold shoe. Just put the mount on it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, like,
well, especially with this one, because it has the mic jack.
Right. No, like, just put a cold shoe mount on top of the pop-up flash, because you don't need to. Yeah, you're right, but I would argue with the smaller the camera gets, the more I'd want to flash on it usually. But
You'd
there's
probably
not-
want it, but you won't really use it. You still won't really
Right.
use it. No one really uses the onboard flash unless you're just someone that's literally just a point and shooter, you know.
Well, right, but that's what you want to do with a point and shoot. I don't want to put a speed flash on it or a strobe on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like, But at the same time,
I don't really use the
A cold
flash
shoe?
ever.
I rarely do. But if I had to, I'd rather on a point and shoot. I'd rather just use the built-in than like, yep, I'm gonna go get my strobe, dude, and put it in.
I mean, I don't even use a flash on my fucking phone. I never turn that fucking thing on.
But just put a cold shoe on it. Like, it doesn't have to be a hot shoe. You know, there doesn't have to be a sensor like an electrical connection going through it. Just put the 2 metal plates and let me put a microphone on it.
I think the reason they don't do it is just because it's not wide enough to do it. But even if you had half of one, as long as it was just enough where you can screw down into it, it
Yeah.
would work. It would work. Or just make it a little bit thicker. I don't know. It's a nice little point and shoot. It's cool. I kind of want to get my hands. I do want to see the footage. Like, I want to see what their bit rates are. Maybe that they're changing the bit rates up. I want to see if maybe they did some tweaks with the autofocus and it is better than what we expect it to be.
I think it looks okay. It looks fine. Like, if you're using it to vlog, I'm pretty sure it's gonna look more. It's gonna look good enough.
I want
am
to see it compared to my RX5 because I have an RX5. I don't recommend anyone get the RX6. The RX5 is the better one. I just want to see compared to it because I do use the RX5 a lot for just like quick little vacation videos.
Yeah.
And now that you have a mic jack, you could throw a little like Rode Micro on there. That makes it really compelling for those situations.
Yeah.
And you get the Canon colors, which are always really nice to look at. And you get the
And
Canon
then if
fucking
you-
Wi-Fi stuff, which is awesome. I love using that feature. Sony's is terrible.
Then for vlogging, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would make it like the best vlog camera. I mean, assuming it's somewhat IBIS or they're finally fixed their electronic image stabilization or whatever they're using on it.
Yeah, it has a really good. I watched some footage on that. It's pretty good.
That's what I expected. Yeah. So like, for just like a light vlogging camera,
Yeah. It's your
that's
NiStat camera.
compelling.
It's your NiStat camera.
Yeah.
All your NiStat videos. Now you get good sound with it.
it would. That camera weighs as much as this one does without the lens. Like, that one's the same weight as this body.
Yeah.
It's like an eighth of 0.8 pounds, about 13 ounces, like the 380 grams or whatever. Like, it's not a heavy system at all,
No.
and you get a flip up screen.
And that's it.
It's compelling.
That's it.
It's
For
so
750, that's not bad. I thought it was a little bit more than that, but 750, that's a pretty good deal.
750, yeah, 750 or 760, whatever. That sounds good. It's just, why no 24?
I don't know. And it is 750 for the RX Mark III.
That's probably why. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and they probably.
So if you're gonna buy an RX3, buy this.
Yeah.
Because it has a mic jack. That's like the difference between these two cameras.
Right.
And
And I
you-
don't think the RX3 has IBIS in. Let me see. It might not have 4K. That might be the thing it misses is the 4K.
yeah, so buy this instead of an RX3. But if you're gonna go bigger, I think.
Yes, the RX3 doesn't have 4K. This has 4K, so they can't be the same sensor.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, huh? Maybe they can be the same sensor. Just Canon knows how to do bitrate better than Sony, so maybe that's how they're figuring it out.
Well, I do know they also. It's that, but this one does have their new Digic 8 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. So theoretically it should be able to do 4K. You know.
Yeah,
Maybe the Digic 8 is why none of them can do 24 frames,
that's what it has to be.
except for the R, which also has an 8 in it.
Yeah.
Why, Canon?
I don't know. I would love Canon to answer that question. Why they decide to leave that out? Because they give you 25.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What is the reason for that? Now I know there's not really any difference. It's really just an NLE thing. It's when you throw it into Premiere and you throw it into other stuff that uses a 24 frame codec, you can't match them up with a 25 frame. You just can't do it.
Right.
You can't bin it. You can't
yeah.
bend it. They're completely different.
You kind of can. It will just cut out a frame.
It would look weird. It would look janky.
Yeah, no, it just cuts out a frame every time you go through.
Yeah, it looks janky. I'm very curious. I would love someone who knows Canon. I want to see one of these reviewers like grill Canon. Like, what are you doing? Why do you keep leaving out the dumbest shit?
Just get our boy Casey out there.
Casey, go get him, dude. Tell him. Ask them
Oh,
why.
He already released a video of just like it's worse than we thought. Just 'cause
I saw that.
24. Yeah.
I saw that. It did.
But yeah, no, I don't know. That doesn't.
I want someone like Peter McKinnon or Matt Hapoya or Potato Jet. Go to the Canon
Oh
headquarters.
no, they won't, dude. Like,
fucking storm in there and be like,
God.
what are you doing? Why are you leaving out the obviously stuff that you can do that people want you to do and expect it? Like, it's not even stuff that we want. We expect it in these cameras, and they leave it out.
I think Potato Jet's the closest to caring about that.
Oh, for sure.
Not that it's 24, but like I mean, what I mean by that is Potato Jet's the only one who isn't rich enough to not give a shit.
Yeah.
Basically. And I mean, he's doing well, not to say that, but like, it's like, I mean, Matt, who I love their videos. I don't give a shit about Maddie's opinions most of the time for cameras, just because like he reviewed.
They're all good.
No, it's not even that they're all good. He hated the new Sony, the
did he?
6400. He hated the 6400, and like half of his review was just like, "Yeah, I don't think I've never bought a full frame camera." And it's just like, "Oh, forgot you're rich, aren't you?" Yeah, okay. Like,
That is the answer then.
And
No,
then-
yeah, we need Potato Jet to go into the Canon offices, go with Casey, and say why? What at least give us the answer to why. Maybe there is some scientific reason why. I doubt it, but I would love to know what they're fucking doing. Like the RF is unacceptable because there's no 25 option. There's only 30. Unacceptable. You
no,
can't.
the RP has 25.
Does it?
Yeah, the RP is 25. It just doesn't have 24. But the SL3 only does 30-60. And it might have 25, but I think that one's only 30-60. With a crop. So all of them crop. So that's what I've always wanted is an SL3 on a cropped camera where the 4K then crops in again like the M50.
Yeah, it does. It does have 25. Why don't they put the 24 in there?
Yeah, and then it's one of those things where it's like, okay, actually,
But the 4K has the 24
right
in the
right. Well,
in the RP.
No, the 4K has 24, but I don't think it has 30.
No,
It just has 24.
Just has
But then you
24.
can't film anything else in 24 to match it.
right. And you'd have to film in 25, and it would look. It looks weird. You can't do it. You have to match the frame rate. It was one of the things you have to match. Now you can match like 60 and 120 and 24 because they're in the same sort of. I don't remember the exact name of it, but they can match up when you
They're all
pull the.
divisible, yeah.
Yeah, they're all divisible from each other. 25 is not.
No, but I think the RP can do 25 and 4K.
Oh really?
I think it can do both of them at 25. So what everyone's ultimate suggestion was you're just going to have to shoot everything at 25 and then it's an okay camera. And honestly, if you're in the EU and like you're running PAL normally, you do 25 normally, RP is actually pretty good camera.
Yeah, and it's nothing against
But in the
25
US,
frames. It's,
yeah, but like in the US, if you're trying to use only 24 and match everything to 24 like the rest of your cameras,
yeah,
what is this?
you have like this weird sort of like, you notice it. It's a noticeable decrease in the motion blur of your camera because they just pull a frame out. You're just pulling a frame out. Very odd. Very odd. One day Canon will get it. Everyone is hoping the Canon 90D and this new update to the EOS system is their
90D sounds
savior.
interesting, yeah. Because the other thing too, and the thing Canon does better than anyone basically for quite a while, in my opinion, Canon comes out with cool glass.
Yeah.
Like all of the R line of glass, I want all of it.
Yeah, they're
I don't
awesome.
even have an R, but like they just released like that 24 to 250 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
24 to 250. It's variable aperture, but that's like a
but it's
sick ass
still a
kit
low
lens.
aperture for the most part. But like,
It's a kick ass little kit lens.
there's every range you could ever want. Like, sure, dude. For video stuff,
And no one expected that either. That's another thing about their lenses. They release lenses a lot. Where it's like Nikon, you're waiting for their lenses. You know what their lens lineup is. You're just waiting for them to release it. It takes forever for their lenses to come out.
And at the same time, though, I will say, some of Nikon's older glass is really fucking good, though.
Yeah, a lot of their all of their older glass. I would still say Leica, the older Leica glass is probably the best. Their images are they're quintessential. I guess Canon's older glass is kind of not that good.
Canon's older glass is very hit or miss because I have a bunch of it, and some of it's fantastic, and some of it's like
there's a few like good lenses that you want, but most of them are kind of just like
some of it's like I'm definitely paying in Canon tax right now.
Yeah, they hit their stride in the 90s. That's really when they started releasing some really interesting stuff, and then early 2000s. Right after the 5D Mark III, the success of that camera that changed everything, that changed the world of content creation, they were just like, let's start removing things.
Yeah, I know. I like Casey from Camera Conspiracies. His whole conspiracy theory is that their whole factory burned down, so they're just rehashing the same camera. Because yes, that's the Mark III.
That was their last but then they have the cinema stuff, which is the best. Like their cinema stuff is so good.
For the price,
so weird, man. It's
for the price, it's
for the price. Well, there's really no competition in that realm. The only competition is really like maybe a Panasonic Cinema, and then you have the Sony Cinema FS series lens or cameras. But I would still go Canon.
Good, but I'd go Canon at that price point.
Yeah.
But then if you're going lower, only caring about cinema, Blackmagic's going it, and then if you go higher, once you start going too much higher than C300, you're red territory at that point.
Yeah, there's really no middle between $25,000 camera and a $10,000 camera. There's no $12,000-$15,000 like real good cinema camera with autofocus and stuff like that.
True, but you can get a red body nowadays for like 10 grand.
Yeah,
so like I've passed. That's what I mean. Where it's like, well, if I'm starting to hit the higher end of like a C300, it's not that much more to go just pick up like a minimal red to set up.
I would never suggest anyone buy a red camera. It's my bias against red.
They're cool if you like contrast. I really like them, but
they're cool if you like the color green.
That's a lot of cinema cameras, dude.
If you like the color green, red is your. They should have just called their camera company Green.
No, go look at Area Alexa footage before it's the Rec 709 lights put to it. It's green as fuck.
But it's nice and warm.
It's warm, nice and warm. It's still green as hell. All the cinema cameras are just super green.
Yeah, that's just log though. That's just log in general. It's like the green yellow, but red after you grade it, still green, man. You still got them greens. No,
I think I like it in a lot of applications, but it's more for like moody. Like, okay, with my current bullshit in the garage setup, red would look really cool right here, right now.
Yeah, you would look like they all look like action movies. It's like an action movie tech car camera. Yeah. If you're shooting any of those,
my problem with red isn't their image. I think their image is kind of cool, but it's not my favorite. I agree. It's like that idea of like how it's like kind of how Sony's taken over the tech world. Like almost every tech reviewer, you can tell it's a Sony camera.
Yeah.
That's like red. But I don't trust their track record with like reliability, honestly. That's what scares me from red more than anything, but that's...
No, I hear they're terrible for that.
Yeah, no, but if I was in the position to buy red, I would have to own a company or be working at a production company. I would have to have someone that I know can replace this camera twice a year because that might happen.
Yeah, they have a good idea. They have a good business model. I think their business model is a good idea because if you're going like the Aura cinema series or you're going, like
So good.
VistaVision or you're going like movie stuff, like real movie cinema cameras, you can't really buy that stuff. You have to rent it. You have to go to a production place to rent them and use all of their guys and use them. Use the Cook lenses. Like you're that's usually how it goes. But Red, they kind of came in, they were like, we'll sell you the camera. You can buy whatever you want to buy, attach it to how you want it, and you get an excellent image.
You can only spend like $30,000 on the camera, so you can still afford your $30,000 lenses instead of, well, you got to buy an $80,000 camera and your budget's now gone.
Yeah, and you're gonna spend $10,000 a week using the lenses in your production, but that's like you're spending you're putting millions of dollars in a production. Where Red is like, look, if you want to do like high quality indie stuff, we do have options for you, and I do think that it is worthy. But now you have Blackmagic coming along.
No, and that's where that low end. I think Blackmagic. I would buy a Blackmagic before Red.
And I think Blackmagic's image is far better than Red's. At least the color. I think the colors look really good. Red has really good clarity, but I don't like their colors really. Unless you're shooting like a Michael Bay action movie or a car commercial.
That's fair.
Or your MKBHD. He's like the perfect application for a Red camera. MKBHD studio on Akira arm.
It's fucking Red and it's Sony. That's the tech world.
Yeah. And it makes sense. It does make sense. There's no reason for them to be using Arri Alexis and Cook glass. All right.
Well, no, it's that they like the tech world. I don't know how. Like, I get why it became a thing, but it is interesting to me that no, the tech world's all about sharp. Has to be very sharp. Colors, we don't care about warmth. We don't want like any softness. Like tech world's just like sharp image.
Yeah, super sharp, super contrasty, and you can do a lot. Like what Red looks good too is with like neon, like nice like artificial light. Yeah, it really does. Like it has like that saturation in there that looks really nice. All right, let's get out of here, everyone. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.